Okay, so here's Jelly. She's laying on the bed with her head out so I don't step on her accidentally. And what we're doing right now is we're going to wire up these little lights. You can see right there and over here, these little puck lights. We got 5 of these with the remote control. Battery operated lights, runs on 3 AAAs normally. But currently the front ones are wired to my solar, to my 12 volt. And so I'm going to show you how I did that. You turn them off remotely. They turn different colors, all kinds of cool stuff. So I need to get on with it because I got a late start. Basically I'm using telephone wire. It's solid 4-conductor telephone wire. I'm using the red and the green pair to power 2 lights. Actually, in this case, it's going to power 3 because I'm going to put one under the cabinet right in here, right in that area, so that I have a light in the cabinet as well. And I believe they'll power 3 lights. The little circuit that I've got that I'll show you just in a second, they'll power the lights no problem. So let's get the circuit out. Hang on, I'll be right back. So the little circuit that I use looks like that. I don't know if this is good focus or not. Let's see if we can zoom up on it a bit. There we go. And I got these off of eBay, and they're adjustable. They're a buck type of circuit. They can take a higher voltage and break it down to a smaller voltage, but they can't take a smaller voltage and step it up to a higher voltage. They're step downs. So there's a little trimmer pot right here on the side. You can see right there. I don't know if this camera will focus. Let's see. There you go. There's a little trimmer, that little silver round thing, and then the rest of the circuitry. Anyway, these can handle up to 3 amps output. And by the way, they'll be going in these dollar store lights too, these little lamps. I have 2 of these, and I'm going to make a cord for them, a long cord, and these will eventually be powered by these little circuits as well off my solar system. So these run on 3 AAA batteries, and they're really bright. They're nice little lights. Anyway, got them at the Dollar Tree for the little lights. And the, as I said, these lights that I'm going to be powering here, I got from Grocery Outlet. So if you have a grocery outlet, they sell a 5-pack with remote and batteries, believe it or not, 3 AAA batteries. And by the way, after this modification, the lights are still usable on the AAA batteries. So let me show you that right now. So I'll put my little circuit down over here. I got to set that circuit before I solder to it. I need to set it for the 4.5 volts that these lights need, because they run on AAA batteries, as you can see here, 3 of them. So it's a battery here, a battery here, and a battery here. How are we going to hook to this circuit? Not a problem. As you can see, these 2 are joined together, so that's just a common, and this is the actual negative right here. In this section up here, these 2, as you can see, are joined together. And this sol one right here is the actual positive. You can tell because of the way the contacts are divided. There's 1 contact here and 1 contact here, and then a bus contact here. So this is the actual negative of the circuit, this is the positive of the circuit. So we're just going to solder really quickly the wire to the top of the, just tack it on to the top of the thing. It's not going to be neat, not going to be pretty, it's going to work though. And for my stuff, that's fine, as long as it works. Anyway, so we'll get to that in just a bit. So this is the back of the little circuit board, as you can see. Let's see if I can zoom up on it and get a focus here. There's a goes in and a goes out, in and out. In is on the right there, out is on the left, and the positives and negatives are marked. We're going to go ahead and hook the in positive and negative to the 12 volt of my solar, and then we're going to connect a voltmeter to the outs, positive and negative, and set this little trimmer, this little pot right here, we're going to adjust that to where we read 4.5, 4.6 volts. Okay? And that would be at 3 amps. These will put out up to 3 amps. So let's get to that. Okay, so as you can see, Jelly is demonstrating how the circuit's hooked up. We have the positive and the negative hooked up. Positive and negative here. It doesn't matter the color of the wire so long as you know the polarity, positive and negative. Okay? Hooked up to the little circuit. These jumper leads here are on the gazout, and it's the output, and they're connected to my voltmeter here. I can set this right here so you can see it. Okay. I will make a little turn on the little potentiometer that I showed you earlier. I'm going down 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. It's basically 4.5 volts, so 4.5, 4.6, something like that right there. Okay? That's 4.574, basically 4.5 volts. It's a little more than 4.5 volts DC out. Okay? So the little circuit is adjusted for the voltage that we need. We can turn it down a little bit more, although that will affect the brightness of the LEDs somewhat. If you try and get these, 4.517 is really close, so we'll call it that. We'll leave it that, 4.517 volts DC. And that's all done. Let me pick up the camera and hold it so you can see this here. That's all done by adjusting this little trimmer here. That little trimmer right there, little Goomba right there, is how you do it. By the way, you can get the jumper leads and this trimmer tool. I've had these for years. Normally you can find them in any electronics shop, Zacket Electronics, or oh wait, those places don't exist anymore. That's right, because they've pretty much closed all electronics shops because nobody really does their own thing anymore. So you can probably get them off Amazon or eBay or someplace like that. You'll need to do your research to find out. No, I will not send you one of my tools. Okay, so now that we've got the circuit adjusted, we can disconnect it from our 12 volt and disconnect the circuit, and it's ready to go. We just need to solder the wires to it so that we got some wires to attach to. So let's go do that. We're going to be running the soldering iron on an inverter, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, the voltage climbed up a little bit. It climbed a little bit. That's alright though. We don't mind. Okay. That's enough of that. Jelly says, shh, she's sleeping. Okay, so we've got the soldering iron hooked up. Let's turn her on. It's a inverter. Up down on top of my cabinet, you really can't see it there anyway. It's a little 400 watt inverter. It happens to be modified sine. I want to change to pure sine, but it will power the soldering iron. And it'll take a minute for it to heat up. While it's heating up, let's get a little water and put on our sponge here, because we have to keep our sponge wet so that we can clean the tip of the soldering iron. Jelly's still not interested. Anyway, alright. And put some water on the sponge here. Let it soak in. The sponge will reinflate itself and troll up. This is my messy tiny house. Sorry about that. Sorry about the mess. Oh, that's too wet, but that's alright. So the soldering iron heats up pretty quick. I'm going to go ahead and strip back some wires. I don't want to use my power too much, so here I got to put this phone down, strip some wires. Okay, so I have one light done, and I've got the yellow connected to the positive and the black connected to the negative. Runs to the little circuit there. There's our little circuit here. To the green and the red wire. And I have it going through the long piece of wire here. I have the end light connected, as you can see here. And we get light. Oh, hang on a second. Alright. See if we can get its focus here. So you can see that I've used the this is the end light in the series, in the string. The other light isn't connected yet, but I went ahead and connected up this light so that you could see that it works. The lights turn different colors. Of course, that's red and green, blue, high white, low white, and then of course off, because they're tap lights as well. They do work with the remote. I can grab my remote here. Hang on a second. And so we'll be able to turn it on. Also, by the way, as you can see, we could still theoretically, if we wanted to, if for some reason our solar quit and we needed to, we could still put batteries into here. And as you can see, my connections aren't real spiffy, but just touched real quick to the positive and to the negative with some solder, and it still definitely is usable with batteries if you want to. So hang on a second, let me grab the remote. And you guys can see that. So hold on. So let me zoom back a little bit. Here's the remote control. I push the green button, it turns the light on, and I can dim it down. That's the low white, high white. Okay, here I can turn this off so you can see it. Then I can do red, and a green, and a blue, and it can change colors all by itself. It can do a little dancing thing for you. There you go. So you can have a little disco inside your rig there. All the lights will do that. All of them are independently controlled with this remote. I believe it uses a 2032 battery, so they're easy to come by, the batteries. But anyway, alright, so I'm going to get back to hooking up the rest of the system, and then of course it can stay solid colors like blue, like that, or this. And I kind of like this yellow. It's kind of a here, let me see. There you go. It doesn't really show up good on camera, but it's kind of a yellow color. There's a bluish, purple. It has all these different colors that it can do, along with the white light, higher, low. Anyway, and then of course you can turn it off. We push the red button, that'll turn the light off. So I just wanted to show you that it works with our little circuit. I'll get the other light connected and I'll get them mounted up, and then I'll show you how all three work together independently. But yeah, we can still put the back on this. In fact, the back is what holds it to the ceiling, just with a sticky back, a regular double-sided tape thing. So you clean your surface real good that you want to put it on. You put the double-sided tape on though, and these ones that are up here have been double-sided tape for well over 6 months now, and I haven't had any problems with them. Again, they can turn different colors too, or they can be the white, you know, or they can do the dance mode. Ta-da! Look, I'm a disco. Anyway, hope you all liked it. Hope you got something out of it. I'll show you the end result here in a minute. So real quick, the wires just come out the bottom of the light. There's no special, you know, connectors or anything here. And you put the little back on, and it does a little twisty. I don't know if I can do it while I'm holding this. Maybe, let's see. But I just put there's a low spot right here where you can put the wires at. Yeah, see, it's not going to focus real well. I'm not sure why. Anyway, I just put the wires next to that, and then it doesn't matter if they touch this negative either. People will say, oh, that wire's touching that negative that connector doesn't matter, it's just a bus bar, which is actually at this point in time going nowhere, simply because it's not connected to anything else. We have the main positive and the main negative connected over here, so you don't have to worry about that bus bar. Nothing's going to short out, everything's going to be fine. So let it go, and these things go in here like this. And yeah, if I set this down, maybe I can do it. So, and then what happens, again, move it like this, it's a quarter twist. I believe it's that way, let's see. There we go. And now the back's on, see? And so, I'll put my sticky back on there, clean this, put my sticky back on, clean the ceiling, and put them where I want on the ceiling. And they'll stay there, and the wire gets tucked away in this track up at the top there. You can't really see it. Let me see if I can get some light up there so you can see it. But, maybe not. Anyway, right up there's a track. You really can't. By that screw, the metal is bent over. You can't really see it, but the metal is bent over, and that's a track there. And so I'll put a light in that corner and a light over in that corner over there, and the wire will run in the track and then come down like that. You can see the tan wire right there. That comes from the front lights, right? And comes down and goes into my solar control area, which is a mess right now because I'm working on it, but anyway, goes to the fuse box, etc. Okay, enough of that. I got to wire the lights up. I'll show them to you when they're all done. So real quick, to connect the loop wires, because these wires we don't want to separate, these wires just pass through, but we want to use them to connect to the other light. We have to strip the insulation back, and what we do is we put our stripper on here with the insulation, wiggle it a little, and then pull, and it will strip the insulation back enough so that, as you can see, you got some shiny copper there on both wires, and you'll be able to bend them over thusly, like that. Crimp them up a bit, and there you go, like that. And you'll have little connection points. Here, you can trim this off. There we go. You'll have little connection points that you connect to the next light. So the wire will kind of go in and go out, and that's goes in and goes out, and that's fine. This is positive, the red, and this is negative, the green, and they'll fit right inside of the light just like the other wires did, no problem. So, all right, I'm going to get back to it. Okay, so I've got the other light soldered up to the other side of the wire. Again, it's going to go, they're going to get stuck to the ceiling and then go through a track. I'll show you that in a bit, but I wanted to show you this. It's got 4 wires coming out because you just looped them over rather than, and made a connection that way, rather than cutting the wires and soldering 2 together. You know, just keeps the circuit going, that's all. So, but you have 4 wires coming out now. But the back will go on just fine. I'll show you that in a sec. As you can see, both lights come on. They can both get dim This one can turn color, so can that one green. And that's because I have the remotes hitting both of them at the same time, and that's why they're working like that. So, and it can do the dance. Here's the dancing lights. Ta-da, they dance. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and put the back on. And here, I'll turn them off. There we go. With the remote. I'll put the back on, and then I'm going to stick them up to the ceiling and tuck the wire in the track, and I'll show you that. Alright, so I started this project around 4, I think, and we got her done. We've got 3 lights running on the little circuit that I showed earlier, and the wire's tucked up in the track. Let's see if I can get up here and show you. Oh man. So there's the track right there. You can see part of the wire right there. Right, it didn't go quite in the track. It comes along here. Comes the light with the double loops. Okay, there's part of the loop sticking out there, and then it comes down, and we got a lot of cleanup to do here, right? But yeah, that's one of the things. There's never time to do it right. There's always time to do it over. Anyway, got the project done. The remote makes everybody work. So, pretty cool. So now, along with our back lights here that I just got in, I have the front lights that I originally put in, and they run along this track over here. There's a track up there. You can't see it. It's dark in here now. It's about 7:30 almost where I'm at, and it's getting dark, and it's time to call it good. So that's basically how you put lights in your rig, or at least that's how I put lights in my rig. Hope that helps you. Talk to you soon. Oh yeah, and jelly still, you know. I gotta put all this crap away now. See ya.